Hello and welcome back to Sly 2, Band of Thieves, in which, for our final preparations for our biggest heist yet, we're recruiting help from the lovely Carmelita.
Okay, Sly, we need to send Carmelita a radio pulse so she can home in on the blip. To do that, I'll need you to get on top of 4 very tall towers. They are too big to climb and too tall to jump up normally.
What's this all got to do with this thing you've got me wearing?
It's an experimental mega jump pack. By pressing the R2 button, you'll perform a huge jump, so be careful.
Alright, sounds like fun.
Yes, this thing on our back is not just a weird thing for the thing of it. It is in fact a new power-up! Whoa! Yes, this is awesome. I love this, and I really wish I could say that this was permanent. This power-up right here, you can switch it off if you want. You know, it works just like a normal power-up. It is exclusive to this mission. You're not going to have it after this point. This would be one option to getting this bottle on the top here. There is one more. And in fact, that option brings me up to a very tiny little thing. I was actually planning on getting the treasures before this, but I completely forgot that from the point of that mission being available, meaning from the point of the slideshow that we saw previously, from that point onwards, well, not that point onwards, but from that point until you complete this mission, you will have this jump pack on your back. With this on your back, you actually cannot collect treasure. So that kind of put a bit of a wrench in my plans, but I guess it doesn't really matter much in the long run. So we use this, we can actually combine it with the double jump, as you've been able to see. And in fact, I was going to say that you can combine it with something that we're going to be buying at the Thief Net, but I guess that's not going to be happening, is it? There we go. If you don't remember, we need to make these signals very clear or things. I'm not entirely sure of the logistics here, but we need to make these signals present for Carmelita to be able to find us. And this was not a good wing to be going on, but I guess it probably doesn't matter in the long run. A lot of things don't seem to be mattering in the long run apparently now. That's just a new speech pattern that I've developed, and I don't know how to get rid of it. So, going up this way. Again, how awesome is this? I mean, who would expect to get a jump power-up for Sly of all characters? Both Murray and Bentley have such power-ups, but you wouldn't expect one to get one to... Wow! Words! You would not expect to get one for Sly as well, because he already kinda is the jump man of the group. Anyway though, going on to the next tower, this is all pretty much the same stuff, excuse me? Can I not? Okay, well I guess I can break the fence first and then it'll probably work. There we go. Wow, even with a high jump that just barely worked. There's holes in the sides to supposedly be allow you to actually get on top of them, but they're not really necessary to use unless you want to, I guess. I don't know. Wow, I really like how this looks from a distance. Like even with just the like spinning effect, that looks really cool just from the distance. And there's a lot of things in this game that don't look very good for distance because it has such a bad draw distance, but that's not one of them, thankfully. And it's good so. We like to have good final expressions, because I've said before that it's the first expression that counts, but it's also the final one. It's kind of the middle that isn't so impactful.
Aha, it looks like Carmelita has picked up on our signal. She's now headed on an intercept course directly for us. Don't mind the message on the corner there. Apparently there's been a mistake and I've been logged off the PSN. That doesn't really bother me much. I guess it's better that it happened now than in, like, anything remotely important. Anyway, actually, I should not be going this way. Now that we have no longer this jumping thing on our back, unfortunately, there is now no way to get it back. It is exclusive to that mission and you cannot replay missions. Kinda sucks, but hey, them's the breaks, I guess. Now we can actually collect treasure, the first of which I just happened to think of is right over this way. This is finally the point, which I thought was a lot earlier, where all of the treasures are booby-trapped, and you need to be careful with all of them. And they can be kind of tricky because this is a big area. It's easy to get lost or go an inefficient way or something like that, but you're probably not gonna have any trouble anyway, at least not if you know the area somewhat well. Because as I've said, I'm not exactly going to pretend like I'm any sort of expert, and I don't feel like I'm having a lot of troubles right now.
As you can see, this was also potentially kind of a cool point to be using the mega jump. I should not have done this! Case in point, if I had the mega jump, that could have worked. It's almost as if just walking the normal road is a good idea. Let's not activate this mission accidentally. That would kind of suck. There we go. Next treasure is right on this side by one of the spinning wheel guy things. I guess if you want to, you could probably wait for those wheels to be in a more favorable timing than this, but honestly kind of worked out in my favor, to be honest, even though I didn't think about it even in the slightest. For the last treasure, if you went up the other wheel thinking that they would just be going to be opposite of each other, you were half right. You are going to go this way, but instead you want to go on the top here. Probably not get detected would have been a good idea. And here we go. I'm going to smoke bomb before doing anything with this, otherwise that's going to go terribly. There's a bomb we blew up, by the way. It's still on fire, and I do believe that fire can hurt you. Now, are you ready for this? Going into the safe house, we have collected our final treasure. There's now nothing else to get. How about we see the fruits of our labors? We currently have 900 coins. These things are pretty damn expensive. And I've been trying to be diligent about collecting guard loot as well, but as you can see, even the treasure is not worth that much, all things considered. I have an unfortunate hunch that we're probably not going to be able to. We definitely cannot afford all three of them. I had a feeling this was going to happen. That's why I've been trying to be diligent about looting guards. But that still wasn't nearly enough, wow. Well, if you find yourself in a similar situation to me, then I have bad news. There's really not any better ways of getting money if you've already gotten all the treasures than to grind from looting guards. And honestly, who wants to do that? I certainly don't. So honestly, it's just as well, because only one of these moves are really worth the damn anyway. Well, kind of. I'll explain in a second. Because first off, we have the temporal lock, which out of the three is easily the least valuable. But before I say anything about it, I will preface the fact that I certainly agree that I could have bought this a whole lot earlier. A decently big part of the reason why these are not valuable moves is simply because they're not going to exactly get much use at this point. And to be honest, even if I were to buy this at the very beginning of the area, I'm not sure it would really matter too much more. I mean, remember, Bentley and Murray really only have like a mission and a half each. And as such, if you're in a similar situation to me where you can only afford one of the moves, then this is the one I would prioritize the least. But I haven't even mentioned what it does yet. Well, it does as the description says, it stops guards for a moment. It can be really handy because Bentley isn't exactly the combat-oriented one. But to be honest, due to the fact that it is gotten so late in the game, I don't really have much personal experience with it. I cannot actually tell you what physically happens when you activate it. I can only assume that guards stop moving, and you can move past them. I don't know. Because, simply put, it's not something you'll need at this point. Then next up, we have the Diablo Fire Slam. It's an attack move from Mary, so as usual, it's generally completely unnecessary, but it has one interesting property. And if you're in a similar situation to me, where you can only afford one move, and you're specifically playing PlayStation 3 or Vita version of this game, you might want to consider getting it, as there's a trophy associated with it. In fact, I haven't really talked about the trophies up to this point, and that's mainly because you can get about 90% of them just from playing the game normally. However, in order to get the Platinum Trophy, you're going to have to buy some moves. These are all the moves that will give you individual trophies. Aside from this, all you need to do to get trophies in this game is play the game. Pretty much all the trophies are just from beating all the bosses. And as such, if you've been following along, purchase this move, and you will only have one more trophy to get in the game. I, however, already have all the trophies and don't otherwise have any need for this move. As such, the Feral Pounce. We might not be allowed to keep the Mega Jump, but you know what? This is just as fine. It's pretty self-explanatory. It makes slide jump a whole lot longer, and the height I'm actually not sure about. It's either as high or even higher. Either way, it's not a bad trade-off in the slightest. In addition to the fact that this move is just fun to use, you will actually have immediate use for it. Both because it'll be useful for the upcoming missions, and because the one bottle that is kinda high up and tricky to get to that I personally used Bentley to get to, is also very reachable with the Feral Pounce. And lastly, what really takes the cake about this is that it has no special gauge usage at all. Completely free of charge. You can use it as much as you want, and you will use it as much as you want. Whatever that's supposed to mean. I don't know why that sounds so threatening or whatever, but... And as such, especially if you're playing PS2 version, I would choose no other move above this one. Out of the 3, you know. With that though, we have prepared ourselves as much as we possibly can, with the exception of 2 reasonably useless moves, to take down Clockla. And I say, we get right to that in the next episode. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you then.